Yes, he did, and just the fact that he changed his system, where United had played with the split strikers when Chelsea had played with the back four, and they'd had a lot of joy from that, sitting in and pouncing and counter-attacking against Chelsea. Today went with the back three, matched up. Manchester United really didn't lay a glove on Chelsea in the first half. I can't really think of any time where Caballero was tested at all. They go 2-0 up, yes. At the end of the game, United get a consolation daft challenge from Hudson-Odoi in the box on Martial, but I think we have to give Frank, in a very, very trying season as well, we just don't have to think back too far to what he took over. This was a club who had an embargo on them, where he couldn't bring players in. Was the expectation there, as it has been under the Abramovich regime, to go and challenge for a title? No, I don't think it was, but there was still pressure. Now, before the game we talked about both clubs, they want a Champions League place. At the start of the season, with everything being equal, we would say that if Frank Lampard got his Chelsea team into a Champions League spot, that is an unbelievable job. If he can add an FA Cup to this as well, I mean, that is miracle stuff in his first season.
Chris, John, thank you very much indeed. Chris Sutton and our correspondent John Murray there at Wembley Stadium. So it will be Chelsea versus Arsenal in the FA Cup final at Wembley, Saturday, August the 1st. Huge blow for Manchester United. I'm sure United fans, you'll be hoping that David De Gea's performance today doesn't have any impact on your final two games of the Premier League season, trying to get in the Champions League. Good news for both Chelsea and United, but awful news for Leicester earlier today was their 3-0 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur. Bournemouth had a bad afternoon as well. They were beaten 2-0 by Southampton. They're going to have to win their final game of the season and then hope for favours if they're to survive in the Premier League. We have 6 commentaries over the course of the week coming up. Sheffield United, Everton, Wolves, Palace and Brighton, Newcastle on Monday. Watford, Manchester City on Tuesday. Manchester United, West Ham and Liverpool, Chelsea on Wednesday. Plus, of course, we go where the story is on Sunday for the Premier League's final day. Thank you very much for listening to this 5 Live Premier League and FA Cup Sunday. Now it's time to pick up the phone. 08085 909 693. Chelsea are in the FA Cup final. David De Gea's errors. Danny Cowley is gone at Huddersfield. And Nigel Pearson, we understand, may well be going the same way. This is 606.
Are you ready to have your say in the UK's biggest football debate? Your teams, your views. Get ready. This is 606
with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones.
BBC 5 Live.
Good evening, welcome to 606. I'm alongside Robbie Savage taking all of your calls on the weekend's football. Manchester United fans, after that defeat against Chelsea, should Ollie have changed a winning team? And Chelsea fans, you're in the FA Cup final and you currently have a Champions League spot. Can Frank Lampard get you challenging for the title? 08085 909 693. Watford fans, there's been no official word from the club, but it's been reported your manager Nigel Pearson is going to be sacked with 2 games of the Premier League season remaining and the side 3 points above the relegation zone. What do you make of this bizarre decision if it's confirmed? After not winning a match in your first 11 games, surely removing him now is a strange move, isn't it, Robbie?
Bizarre, ridiculous. I just can't. I don't have words for it. Well, I just had 2. He's got the best win percentage of any Watford manager in the last 6. 6 points adrift when he took charge at the bottom of the table. They've got 2 games to go against Manchester City and Arsenal, and then they're going to make a change. Wow. The game's gone.
The mind boggles. I'm sure you'll have a lot to say about that, Watford fans. In the Championship as well, Danny Cowley's been sacked at Huddersfield after 10 months in charge and after Friday's win over West Brom. Was that the right decision? 08085 909 693. Leicester fans, another bad result, losing 3-0 at Spurs. So it could come down to you playing Manchester United next Sunday in goal difference. But you will qualify for the Europa League. You're up to the semi-final of the League Cup and quarter-final of the FA Cup. So Champions League or no Champions Champions League. Has it been a good season for you, Leicester? Leeds United in the Championship / now Premier League. What
Every
a
time you
weekend!
mention Leeds,
Right,
man,
can we take that bell off Robbie Savage, please?
No.
I can't deal with this for 2 hours. Leeds United, incredible weekend. Promotion champions, and today a 3-1 win over your beloved Derby, Robbie, at Pride Park. So, Leeds United fans, what is the target for next season? 08085 909 693. Elsewhere, a huge 94th minute winner for Barnsley against Forest. And for the teams that join them right down at the bottom of the Championship, Charlton, Luton and Hull, it could all come down to Wednesday. That's going to be tight, that. Plus wins in the conference playoffs for Chester, Gateshead, Dartford and Dorking Wanderers. We are taking your calls on all the weekend's football now, and here's how you can get in touch.
This is BBC 5 Live. Call free 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Plus, see our privacy notice. bbc.co.uk/5 Live.
Do you know what? I'm refusing to continue the show until we've taken that bell off you. I'm not putting up with this, Robbie, for the next hour and 45 minutes. Right, let's get into the calls. We're going to head over to John, the Manchester United fan, because we heard Chris Sutton say just there that performance was flat, it lacked energy, and you agree, don't you, John?
Yeah, it was. Why did Chelsea get an advantage of having 4 days in between their last game and today? We played Thursday night, so basically we've had a day and a half to prepare. Chelsea had 4 days to prepare for this game. City and Arsenal both had the same amount of time in between their game. That's why there was lack of energy today. Yeah, Chelsea deserved to win the game. What I think is a bit of a mean loving with Frank Lampard, because it happens because he's English, and he gets an easy ride in the media, which he's had all season.
Whoa. What do you mean he gets? Why is he getting an easy ride?
In the media all season. Oh, he could be getting sacked. Should we get rid of Allaire? Yeah, Lampard has had a nice, easy ride because he's an English manager. That's the way I see it. But the main thing is tonight, we've had 2 games in like since we played first night, had 2 days off, basically. That's it.
John,
why did you change it?
John, why do you think Frank's
There's no criticism whatsoever,
But
Jordan.
why should he get criticism? The third, hang on, whoa, he had a transfer embargo. He couldn't sign any players. He's promoted 8 youth academy graduates into the first team this season. They're currently 3rd in the. Listen, they're going to go out of the Champions League and all that against Bayern Munich. They've got too much to do there, and they could win a trophy. So why should Frank get criticism?
Why shouldn't he?
Because he's. But I just said why.
Why should Ollie get it then?
Well, he's not at the minute.
Get into the top 4. Our team at the start of the season was awful. It was absolute garbage. Then he bought Fernandes in January. He brought Wan-Bissaka's been a decent buy. But today I think we missed Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw had been pretty good. And I think we missed him today with his experience. But no one's answered the question, why did Chelsea not play Thursday night when United did? Why was that?
But John, can you blame? David De Gea? Is that down to lethargy?
I've heard Chris Sutton say he should go, but Chelsea keepers know better. So he really thinks that Chelsea are going to win. Like you said, Chelsea might be in with a chance of winning the league. Not a chance. Not a chance of winning the league when City and Liverpool are there. There's not a chance.
What do you think, John? John, on the goalkeeping situation, David De Gea has been a magnificent goalkeeper, and I still... Right?
He hasn't made... Today he made 2 awful errors.
2 bad mistakes. So, John, Henderson is yet... I think Sheffield United have started talking to Manchester United. I've read in the papers today. If you was Ollie, would you say to Henderson, tell you what, stay, fight for the number 1 this next season? What would you do if you were Henderson as well?
The thing is, say Henderson did get the number 1, for next season. He makes a couple of errors in those first few games. Can you imagine the media? Can you imagine it? Oh, this keeper's no good. United need a new goalkeeper. That's where you've got to make that choice. But I think he'd be under a lot of pressure to be United's number one next season. I don't think he's quite up to it yet. So, it's an hard one. It is an hard decision to make, and that's what he gets paid for, to make them decisions.
It certainly is.
We're short of 3 players. I think we're definitely short of a centre half who's quick. Because Lundorf today got caught again, like he did against Southampton. He's let the striker go in front of him. But you should never let that happen. You should never let that happen, Robbie. That's where we need someone quick alongside Maguire. That's what we need. We need a newer striker, definitely. Maybe a right wing and a right-sided player.
Do you agree with that, Robbie?
I totally agree with John in terms of the centre half. And listen, Harry Maguire, it's not Harry Maguire's fault he cost £18 million, but in modern day football, you're paying the top price. £18 million, the Manchester United captain. Has he been convincing this season? I know United defensively in recent weeks have been very, very good. But in terms of £80 million for Harry Maguire, listen, who am I to say he's not worth £80 million? He's had a terrific career. He's captain of one of the biggest football clubs in the world. But at times you just want to see a bit more leadership, like a Brian Robson, like a Roy Keane. He's not that type of player, we know that. But this thing in the central area, there are question marks. And the goalkeeper, even though the goalkeeper's been one of the best Premier League goalkeepers we've ever seen.
Well, do you know what, Manchester United fans? Get in touch. Where do you think you need to add? 08085 909 693. And Chelsea fans as well. You have a right to reply to John, who reckons the media have given Frank Lampard an easy ride.
Amazing.
I mean, like you said, Robbie, with an embargo, and he's got them to the FA Cup final, currently has a Champions League spot, first year managing in the Premier League.
And Emma, the criticism that Chelsea Football Club would have had in the past is, you know, if you're a young player, you're never going to get an opportunity in the first team. Frank's, not gone against that, but he's promoted those youth team players into the first team. Look at Mason Mount, 6 England caps scored today, been brilliant. Reece James, Hudson-Odoi, I know he got come on the sub today. You can name them. So 8 academy graduates into the first team. Frank Lampard has done a terrific job. And I tell you what, if he wins the FA Cup and finishes in the top 4, he is up there for manager of the season.
Chelsea fans, get in touch. 08085 909 693. Could Frank Lampard be manager of the season? We're going to hear from him shortly, actually. But right now, we're going to head over to AD. Robbie, don't you dare touch that bell, Robbie. AD's a Leeds fan. Don't. Oh.
Robbie, come on, calm down. You've had your little fun. Do you remember we spoke earlier in the season when Leeds had a little wobble? Oh, they're falling apart again. Oh no, they're not going to make it. I know you're having a novel with Emma, and it's great fun. And thank you guys. We didn't win for 5 games. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Well, we'll win the league with 93 points. We're going back in the Premier League, and it's quite ironic. 16 years we've been gone. And
AD, hang on one moment. We're going to come straight back to you. But George Cummings is with Frank Lampard.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks very much. Yes, I'm with Frank now. Frank, just your reaction to getting into the cup final as a manager?
Well, I'm delighted. Mainly delighted with the performance because it was really, really good from our lads. The discipline, the work ethic, the quality against a really top side. The reason they're on a long unbeaten run is because they've got really good players. So every part of our game today was spot on. Maybe we could get 1 or 2 more goals, but that's a big ask against these. But the work ethic, the character. People ask a lot at this time of the year about mentality and character, and our team was full of it today.
In terms of Manchester United this season, they've been a bit of a bogey side for you, haven't they? The change in formation because of that?
Partly because of the strengths that they have, but a lot was made out of that before the game, and I didn't really want to get drawn on it because I know in those performances, and it's easy to reflect on results and look at it that way. All those performances we had to go in the game, there were moments in games where it would be counter-attacks at Old Trafford, Rashford free kick at the bridge, different circumstances. So it wouldn't worry me too much, but I'll be a fool not to be aware of their threats, which are getting more as the season comes in. You see Rashford and Greenwood and Martial and Fernandes, they're top players, so I had an eye on that, but I also thought, what could we do to make it difficult for them when we had the ball? And I thought the way we used the ball when we did it at our best today with the use of the wing-backs gave them a real problem.
All your players are excellent, but Mason Mount seems like he's coming of age, and Olivier Giroud, I mean, he's your number 1 striker now. He's really turned this season around.
Yeah, he has, and all credit to Ollie. I talk about personality, and he absolutely shows that. He gives it because of what he's doing. The battle with Harry Maguire, one of the best in the country at being strong, physical. Well, he held his own, he scores his goal, he shows moments of quality, he holds the ball up. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with him. Rightly, his goals record at the minute is great. And Mason, you know, energy, quality. I'm so pleased he scored that goal. I know he didn't catch hold of it properly, but I said to him after time, he's got to start striking through balls. He gets in positions and he turns away from it, and then he scores one a few minutes later.
You've won it 4 times as a player. What would you like to win it as a manager? How much would it mean to you?
I'd love to. It's, you know, it's a simple answer, and but I understand the tough challenge ahead in playing Arsenal in this final. Well, we've got 2 finals before that in the league, which we have to try and get the right results to finish our league season hopefully as good as it can be. And then, you know, we have to take on an Arsenal team that have got confidence, they're playing well, they've got a good manager, they've got good players. It'll be a London derby, so I'm aware how tough it will be. So we just have to take it head on.
And your day couldn't get any better in a way with Leicester losing.
Well, no, I was aware of that, and you can't control other results, but you know, we know what it is. It's tight there. There's still work to do. So it's let's see. It's what's in our hands we can deal with. So 2 games in front of us are massive.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Cheers.
Frank Lampard there, absolutely delighted after his Chelsea have got into the FA Cup final. Now then, Adi, the Leeds United fan. The floor is yours once again. Please pick up where you left off, because I can't wait to hear this.
Thank you. I beg your pardon. I'm not sure where I left off, but I think I was trying to make a joke. It's quite ironic. 16 years we've been out of the Premier League. 16 years. And come back to hear a moaning Mank moaning about Man United. It's brilliant. But listen, one point I'd love to make, if I may, notwithstanding the fact that we were having a nobble earlier in the year, Robbie. Do you remember when you said that Leeds were falling apart again?
Yeah.
11 wins out of 13. That's how you finish the season, isn't it, Rob?
Brilliant. Listen, I am really pleased that Leeds are back in the Premier League. I've said it to Emma in the past.
Nice one.
I wind Emma up because obviously a Leeds fan, and I know how much it means to Emma to see Leeds back in the Premier League. Listen, I want Emma. Emma, what's your feelings, Emma?
Oh, absolute elation. I mean, honestly, not even working with you tonight could bring me down, Robbie Savage. Honestly, I am.
Can I say, sorry, I've really brief. My boy Roddy, all right, he's 15. All he knows Leeds as is the Championship side. Yeah, Super League. All he knows about is the Championship side. All right, we're down in Hove, 250 miles away. 4 of his pals are Leeds fans. Just imagine how the bandwagon's going to roll and roll. We're back, Robbie. We're back to stay.
We are.
Guys. Go on, Emma.
Adi, honestly.
Go on, Adi.
Yes, Adi, just quickly before you go, I want to know, because I don't know about you, but I know I certainly wasn't expecting it to happen on Friday. I thought we were being Leeds. I thought it was going to go, oh, will you stop that? I thought, do you know what? This is going to go right up until Wednesday against Charlton. How did you celebrate? Because I was so shocked I had to dig out an old bottle of champagne from the back of the fridge. I didn't have anything in.
Just me and my boy were just jumping around. We just couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, there was no beer involved. There was no pals as such. The most important man on this planet to me, Roddy, was with me, so he was absolutely over the moon. And it was a bit surreal. I was fearful. I prefer it to be honest. I was fearful that Derby would somehow trip us up like they did last year. You know, I can imagine losing that game after Brentford and West Brom win, and oh my gosh, do Charlton need something? In the end, I think it worked out well, because we weren't going to celebrate, although there have been things in Leeds, haven't there? Evidently some pals have been sending me some stuff. Super Leagues, thanks Robbie. There have been things in Leeds which maybe we've got to be careful with, you know, with what's going on in the wider world. But all in all, when we came up last time, and you're too young to remember, I don't mean to be patronising, we finished 4th, first season up, and then the season after we won it. So this time I'd be happy with 6th and then winning it the time after.
Just one question for you both, Adi and Emma. Do you think you will beat Derby's 11 points?
Oh, Leo, we're not starting an Ollie Out Brigade again, are we?
No, surely not.
No.
Yes.
Why?
Sorry, right, so don't let me rant, because if I start getting too annoyed, then calm me down, okay?
Excuse me, what's your name, sorry?
Leo.
Leo. Okay,
right.
go on.
So this is the thing here, is that even throughout this whole nice period, I've been saying to people, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I'll say now, if Manchester United want to go forward and win trophies and be successful, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cannot stay in charge because he does not know, he is not a top-level manager. He's one of the most naive managers I've ever seen watching football. He just gets the most simple things wrong. Can I tell you why we lost the game today? Can I tell you why we drew with Southampton last Monday? Because he played the same team again for 5-6 games in a row. He played in the Premier League. Last Monday night, the players were shattered. They were dead. They had nothing left to give. And that is 100% down to his fault why he did that. Today, he won't rest certain players. He's so stubborn. You've got Garlo on the bench. What did you get him for? Why did you make him sign the contract extension? It's just, his team selection is awful. He's just so naive. It's just driving me mad. We won't be successful, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We might get top 4, and that's the end of my rant.
Leo, unbeaten since January, longest unbeaten run for United since 2010. In that time, you beat Chelsea. You beat other teams. You drew with Spurs. I know in the restart. You beat Man City twice. And you're saying Ole's naive. And listen, mate, I think Ole knows far more than you, far more than me. He's a far better coach than you and me. Listen, you allowed your opinion, but to come on and say Ole is naive, it's their first defeat in 19 games. Only Bayern Munich in world football were on a longer unbeaten run. And you say Ole out. Absolute, Leo, absolute.
You're sugarcoating the run. In that run.
No, Leo, you're talking absolute nonsense. Seriously, mate, are you a Man United fan?
Yes.
So it's the first game they've lost since January. First game in the league they've lost since January. And you're saying Ole out.
I'm not saying it because of the defeat today. I prefer we get top 4. I think we will get top 4. What I'm saying is, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have gone last summer. He should have gone last summer at the end of the day. We need a top-level manager. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think
you can't love him. You've just said Ole out.
Yes, because I don't think he's good for the club to move forward. I love him. I think he makes the players happy. He's made decent signings. But for the next step, we can't just be happy to say, oh yeah, well that was a good season. We finished 4th. Oh yeah, we got to an FA Cup semi-final. That was good. We had a nice little run. We had the longest unbeaten run since 30 years. But it's not good enough. It's not what this club. We've not spent so much money and been through 4 managers to get to this stage. And I don't.
Leo, you're just doing that because your name is an anagram of Ole.
Nah.
Oh, Robbie Savage is so proud of himself for that. I've never seen him look so happy with himself.
Leo, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, but that opinion for me is an absolute load of nonsense because one defeat in 19, the longest unbeaten run since 2010 for Manchester United, and you're saying after one defeat, Ole out. And I know you're saying he should have gone last summer. Come on, Leo. You can't be a Man United fan.
Robbie, Leo, thank you very much for your call. Honestly stated opinion, and we respect that. That's what this show is all about. Manchester United fans, do you agree with Leo? 0808 5909 693. We're going to be taking more of your calls after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Emma. Good evening. Health officials in North Lanarkshire are investigating whether workers at an NHS test and trace facility have become infected with COVID-19. 7 employees may have tested positive for the virus there. NHS Lanarkshire says it's taken immediate action to reduce any risk. A mosque in Blackburn says it's being investigated by police and public health officials. After around 250 people attended a funeral there, the mosque has also warned its congregation that the imam has tested positive for the virus. A 30-year-old man is being questioned on suspicion of attempted murder after a member of staff was stabbed at the Royal Sussex County Hospital in Brighton this morning. The victim's in a stable condition. And the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has accused China of what he's called egregious human rights abuses against the Uyghur ethnic group and suggested he could impose sanctions on those responsible. He's thought hundreds of thousands of Muslim Uyghurs are being detained in re-education camps, something which Beijing denies. That's news on 5 Live. Let's get the sports headlines now. Here's Don Busby.
Thank you. And we start with Chelsea, who will play Arsenal in the FA Cup final after an evening to forget for this man.
A little flick from Giroud in the middle, and the ball is in the net. De Gea couldn't stop it on the line. Chelsea come forward with Mason Mount with a shot that David De Gea misses as he dives to his left. It's another goalkeeping error from David De Gea.
Frank Lampard's side were eventual 3-1 winners over Manchester United at Wembley in a game which saw goals from Olivier Giroud and Mason Mount, along with Harry Maguire's own goal. Bruno Fernandes with a consolation penalty for United. Nigel Pearson's days as Watford manager appear to be numbered this evening. BBC Sport understands that he's being relieved of his duties with 2 games still to play. With the club 3 points clear of the relegation zone, under-23 coach Hayden Mullins will be in charge for a Manchester City game at home, then Arsenal away, according to our reporter Simon Stone.
They're not a club who thinks long term, they think short term, they think of staying in the Premier League, and that is why this decision has come so late in the season, basically to get one result.
VAR disallowed Bournemouth an injury-time equaliser against Southampton before eventually losing 2-0 at St Mary's. The result means Eddie Howe's side will be relegated on Tuesday if Watford get a point against Manchester City.
You're sort of in elation for a very brief moment, and then you have to come down very quickly, and it's an incredibly difficult thing for the players, especially. They're the ones on the pitch to deal with. It's hard enough for us on the side, yet alone for them. And all our hard work, all our endeavour in the game in that moment looks like it's rewarded, and I think the second goal is a direct consequence of those emotions still running through us.
In the day's other game, Harry Kane scored twice for Tottenham as they thumped Leicester 3-0 to move up to 6th and into a Europa League spot. And Barnsley live to fight another day in the Championship. Patrick Schmidt's goal in the 93rd minute gave them a win over Nottingham Forest to move off the bottom. Barnsley must now win at Brentford to have a chance of staying up. Champions Leeds United were 3-1 winners at Derby. Meanwhile, Huddersfield have sacked manager Danny Cowley after 10 months in charge. To cricket, where England will begin the final day of the second test on 37 for 2, leading the West Indies by 219. At one point, the tourists collapsed to losing 6 for 52 at Old Trafford, with the returning Stuart Broad taking 3 wickets in 14 balls. So what does he feel England need to set?
Anything over 265, 270, I think, as a bowling unit, we should be able to defend. But at no stage are we going to underestimate what the West Indies can chase, because we saw at the Rose Bowl with the Ageas Bowl last week how calmly they chased that score under a lot of pressure.
A reminder, TMS back on air at 10:15 tomorrow on 5 Live Sports Extra. Next to Hungary, where the world champion has continued to dominate his sport.
Victory in Hungary again for Hamilton, and now he moves to the top of the championship. On the last lap by over a second as well. Classic Lewis Hamilton performance, untroubled all the way through.
Get in there, Lewis. Absolute masterclass, mate.
Fantastic effort this weekend, guys. I'm so proud of you all.
The Mercedes man with his 8th win at the Hungaroring, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Hamilton's teammate Valtteri Bottas in 3rd. And that's the latest from BBC Sport.
Scott Mills and Chris Stark.
Please welcome everyone's favourite Olympic diver, Tom Daley. Good morning.
Good morning. Robbie turned 2 on Saturday.
He is going to try and dive into the bath, though. I mean, it is one thing you're going to have to deal with as a parent.
He stands up in the bath and he goes, like Papa diving, and then he goes, and he lifts his hands up above his head, stands up in the bath, goes 1, 2, 3, go, and he splashes down. It's really cute.
Scott Mills and Chris Stark. Listen now with the BBC Sounds app. This is the UK's biggest football debate. This is 606
with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones
on 5 Live.
Welcome back to 606. We are taking all your calls until 10 o'clock tonight on 08085 909 693. I'm joined by Robbie Savage, and we were chatting earlier, Robbie, about the fact that it's been reported that Nigel Pearson is leaving Watford. What are your thoughts on that? It seems a really bizarre decision.
Bizarre. We've got to wait for clarification from Watford, but with 2 games to go, bizarre. 6 points adrift when he took over, Emma. I just don't understand it. We wait for clarification. Obviously, rumours are that Hayden Mullins and Graham Stack will take over. I think Hayden Mullins in his previous 2 games as temporary charge lost 1 and drew 1. I think that was against Leicester and Crystal Palace. I might be wrong, but we'll have to wait for the clarification. But for me, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and these are 2 big games as well against Manchester City and Arsenal. So, Thomas, over to you. You're a Watford fan. What are your thoughts on this decision, if it's true?
Before that, I should point out that Leo isn't an anagram of Ollie. It's an anagram of Ole.
See what you did there. Ole, Thomas. Thank you.
Ole, yes.
Robbie looks lost. We'll talk Watford, Thomas.
It's an anagram of Ollie, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's the pronunciation that Thomas is doing. Go on.
I was a little puzzled by the decision when I heard it, but I've every confidence in Watford. I've been puzzled by a few of their management changes over the years, but they always seem to get it right. They're the only team I can never think of another Premiership team that's been in the Premiership for 5 years yet changed their manager so often. They always seem to get it right, so I've got every confidence in them.
So even though, at the moment you're sort of teetering, you're on the brink of the relegation zone, you still believe that whatever decision they make is going to be the right one and keep you up?
Yes, I rang you up when Watford hadn't won 11 games this season. I rang up and said they wouldn't get relegated because they know what to do. They know when to change their manager. And even these Watford supporters rang up and said I was bonkers and I've been drinking or something. But it's true. They just seem to know when to change the manager. And I think whether or not there's something happened, I just think they know what they're doing, and we'll see.
Well, Thomas, we've actually just got confirmation through from Watford that Nigel Pearson has left the club with immediate effect. He says Hayden Mullins, with Graham Stack as his assistant, will take up the position of interim head coach for the Hornets' final 2 Premier League fixtures of the 2019-20 season. There will be no further club comment. You can't deny, though, Robbie, that it does seem a very interesting move, given there's only 2 games left of the season.
Yeah, really interesting. No further comment. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. They could not stay where they are on 34 points. Villa could lose their 2 remaining games. Bournemouth could win at Everton, for instance, and not be enough to stay up. They could be on 34 points and stay up. So Nigel Pearson would have done his job. I don't understand it. Really don't understand it.
But you definitely.
Am I right? Am I right in terms of Hayden Mullins? And Hayden Mullins in his previous 2 games as interim manager got 1 point from 2 games, which would be enough to keep them up. But those 2 games are Man City and Arsenal. You could have Jurgen Klopp in charge of Watford right now. What is the best manager in the Premier League? If he was manager of Watford, sorry, what's the caller's name?
So this is Thomas.
Thomas. If Jurgen Klopp was manager of Watford right now, do you think you would get a point against Man City, who probably will bounce back, and Arsenal?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Watford gets 6 points against those 2 teams. Nothing surprised me about Watford. I was the only person that predicted that they'd be the first team to beat Liverpool, and they thrashed them 3-0. Everybody said I was bonkers when I suggested that as well. I think we'll see whether it was a good decision next season. And if Watford have a good season I think they'll be playing Leeds next season and not Coventry. But we'll see whether it was the right decision next season.
Will you still stand behind them and back them and think they're making the right decision, even if they are in the Championship next season, Thomas?
Yes.
Wow, that's fair play. And do you know what? We admire your optimism that you believe you can get 6 points from the next 2 games, don't we, Rob?
Yeah. Well, I admire you for admiring me.
Thomas, the Watford fan, and thank you very much. Thank you for getting in touch. Keep your calls coming in, 08085 909 693. Let's hear from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now with George Cummings.
Ollie, before I speak to you about the game, can I just ask how Eric is? It looked like a really bad collision with Harry.
Yeah, I hope he'll be fine. I've not seen him after. He had a cut in the back of his head, so I'll go and see the doc after.
Is he gone to hospital, or is he still?
I think yes, yeah. Okay. So go through all the routine checks.
We all wish him well. In terms of your performance, I know you've been on a great run, but was it just a little flat from your team today, do you think?
Yeah, it was below par from us. Of course, coming in to half-time at 0-0 would have been a different scenario. The game first half was as we expected. 2 teams that we played against each other quite a few times lately, and it was one of them who's going to get the first goal. Nothing really happened first half, and they got the goal after the long break and layoff. we lost our concentration there for a split second after that one, and second half we were chasing it, but weren't good enough.
Do you think the Chelsea formation, caught your players out a little bit?
No. We prepared for them, so we knew coming into half-time at 0-0 would have been a good result, but then with that injury towards the end, we made a change to our normal way of playing, and then we just couldn't deal with the crosses in the box.
Can I ask what's happened to David De Gea? Is he just shot of confidence at the moment?
Well, I know David is a very mentally strong keeper and a person, but of course he knows he should save that one. That's part of football. Other players make also interferences, or you do something in a game that you could have done better. He knows he could have done better there.
Is he going to keep his place for the rest of the season?
Of course he is.
But they're costing you big matches, and you've got big games coming up. I mean, you've got a really good number 2 goalkeeper.
Well, we've been unbeaten for 19 games now, and both Sergio and David has played really well in that run. We've kept loads of clean sheets. You can see David making a few saves here today as well. And when was it? Thursday night against Palace, he makes a couple of fantastic saves. So I see where you're coming from. Everyone's going to make a big, massive headline on this, that, the other, and David. But of course, he knows he couldn't say that one.
And in terms of top 4 leagues left now, Leicester losing today, I mean, that is one positive you've got. It's given you...
We're in a great position. So we didn't... We believe that we could go on a good run, and we have been on a great unbeaten run, and we've given ourselves a fantastic chance to qualify for Champions League by winning our 2 next cup finals.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there saying David De Gea is going to keep his place. We heard Chris Sutton say earlier, Robbie, that he needs to change goalkeeper. Do you agree with that?
I think the big question is, does Henderson stay at the football club next season? If that's the case, David De Gea, but they'll have 3 good goalkeepers: Henderson, Romero and David De Gea. You know, if Henderson goes out on loan once again to Sheffield United, then David De Gea will be number 1. Listen, let's not forget, he wasn't in great form when he signed that new contract. Reportedly, he needed 350 grand a week. That's a huge contract for a number 1 not to be playing. But you heard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I like the way he backs his number 1. He will play for the rest of the season, unbeaten in 19 games. Yes, he's made a couple of mistakes, and he's made mistakes this season. But will he be number 1? If Henderson stays at the football club, then I will suspect that some point next season he will get an opportunity. But Henderson wants to play, so it's going to be a big decision for Ole. But I believe he'll stick with him. I think he'll stick with him, yeah.
A big decision indeed. Manchester United fans, give us a call and have your say. 08085 909 693. Now, John, the first caller on 606, was saying that Frank Lampard has had an easy ride in the media. We've got Connor, a Chelsea fan, on. Are you here to defend your manager?
Yeah, of course. I think hello guys, by the way. Yeah, I think, well, as Robbie said earlier, I think one thing is pride we as a club were, bashed by is because we'd never really tend to promote youth, and that's all we've done this season. And we've set to finish in top 4 in an FA Cup final, so I don't know how you can really criticise that in any sort of shape or form. I think if I can talk about the performance today, I think the formation change was absolutely fantastic for us. I think you saw the best out of a lot of players. I think as a left back, I don't think Alonso's that great, but I think as a wing back, it's like watching the regen of Roberto Carlos sometimes. He's like a completely different player. And I think for all this talk about, we need a new centre half, I think Azpilicueta in a 3 in the back 3, I think is better suited there, and it gives away at the right wing back position to Reece James, who, by the way, I don't know if you two agree, but my man of the match, I thought he was absolutely superb, Reece James.
Yeah, I'll tell you what Frank Lampard's done this year. He's shown great maturity, hasn't he? He's changed his tactics around at times superbly. Today, you just mentioned it, tactically, he nullified the threat of Manchester United. So, and promoted 8 youth team players into the first team. I don't know how anybody can say that Frank Lampard has had an easy ride in the press. Okay, the Bayern Munich home defeat, what a brilliant side they are, 3-0. They're going to go out the Champions League. I think he's done a remarkable job. And do you know what? You look at Sean Dyche this year, magnificent. You look at Chris Wilder, unbelievable. You look at Jurgen Klopp, sensational. And you look at Frank, he's up there in that list for what he's achieved this season. For me, those 4 managers, and with Brendan Rodgers, let's be fair, has done a remarkable job with Leicester. There's some fantastic managers in the Premier League, and Frank is this season he has to be on a short list. If there were 6 managers, he would have to be on the short list for me.
Do you know what? We'll open that up as well to, any other clubs. If you think actually your manager, and Robbie didn't mention them there, should be shortlisted for Manager of the Year, get in touch. 08085 909 693. Yeah, Nuno's done really, really well. Connor, the Chelsea fan, thank you very much for ringing in and defending your man, Frank Lampard. I think as well, Rob, because it was his first season managing in the Premier League, they started off, there was a bit of speculation about how well he would do. So I think actually he hasn't always had an easy ride, has he?
No, but he's done great. You judge people at the end of the season, and he has done remarkable. Listen, they might not win the FA Cup, they might not finish in the top 4,
but they've still done incredibly well.
If they do, what a season! They
certainly have had an incredible season. Now, before we go to our next caller, Sam, the Arsenal fan, I just want you to remind us what you said about the Manchester City Arsenal game. Rob. You. What did you say on this show last week?
I said, looking forward to the game. Man City against Arsenal by Sam.
You said, what did you say, Robbie?
Say goodbye, Sam.
Oh, do you know what? Can I have a bell? I could do with a bell right now to call you out on this. What did you say?
Say goodbye,
You didn't think that Arsenal stood a chance in this game. Sam,
what are you talking about?
Sam, what do you make of Robbie? Robbie didn't think you stood a chance in this game.
Hi guys, big fan of the show. Yeah, Robbie, I remember listening to the show after the Newcastle Man City game and the draw was made. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to say I was, backing us to beat City. It would be obviously a tough game, but I don't think you can disregard in the semi-final. I think we showed that in 2017 where we beat. Was 2017 the 100-point City team? Arsenal beat them.
Yeah.
This season arguably is a worse Man City team than the 100-point team. I know Arsenal have had their difficulties, but I think in a semi-final you've always got every chance. And yesterday, I'm still buzzing over it today. The football we were playing, that first goal, 18 passes, I think it was a turning point for Mikel Arteta, really. Because for weeks, everyone's been waiting for any time Arsenal lose, it always comes out, he was the cone boy for Pep, he's not proven, he didn't do anything at City, don't know what he's at Arsenal for. But yesterday, he absolutely played Man City off the park for a lot of that game. We had more shots on target. We arguably should have been 2 or 3 up by half-time. And like I said, that first goal, the confidence he's put in that team to play out from the back. 3 passes were in our own penalty box. I don't think I sat well throughout the whole game. It was so tense. But, unbelievable feeling yesterday. I was shocked.
Sam, I've got a few Arsenal fans as friends. Danny, who I know very, very well, FaceTimed me when they scored the first, couldn't believe it, when they scored the second. It was a wonderful performance. Defensively, David Luiz was brilliant, headed everything. And listen, I was saying it tongue-in-cheek when Man City, you're right, I did say, it's a bye for Man City. Listen, I was wrong, it was tongue-in-cheek, and I honestly believe they had no chance. But then they beat Liverpool, they're on a good run. I like Mikel Arteta. I'll tell you what, for me, Ceballos, wonderful player. His passing range, brilliant.
I have to say about Ceballos as well, before lockdown, if get asked by my friends, obviously, about the different players, I would have said Ceballos. I thought he was bang average. Not gonna lie, same. I've said Arsenal fans have had a pretty turmoil season, really, with players like, Xhaka, that Crystal ripped the captain's armband off. I'm not afraid to say that I didn't want to see him play again after that. David Luiz, Man City game, coming on, basically at fault for 2 goals and getting sent off. I didn't think he should be playing again. But the thing with Arteta is he seems to have this man management. He's turned these players around. The confidence yesterday of Louise, like you said, heading everything away. He was a monster. Xhaka, there was that one block with Kevin De Bruyne's shot, throwing himself in the way. Even Ainsley Maitland-Niles, on Thursday, it comes out that apparently he's looking at leaving the club in the summer. But he just throws him in starting an FA Cup semi-final, and he pulls out an absolute blinding performance. So I think I don't want to get too overhyped because it's dangerous, and he's only been in the job 6 months. But I really do think he is a special coach, and he has a special connection with these players already to galvanise that kind of performance. Because like I said, I was so shocked when we scored that second goal. I couldn't believe it actually dawned on me we might actually win.
Well, you did win, Sam. Sam, the Arsenal fan, thank you for your call. Go on, Rob.
Just a quick one on social media. So somebody's tweeted at 5Live and copied myself in, and has said, the fact Robbie said Frank multiple times and referred to all other managers by their full names is probably evidence in itself that Lampard is treated well in the UK media. And I speak as someone who admires him greatly. Well, I call him Frank because when he played for Chelsea, I know him personally, so that's why I call him Frank. And it's Super Frank. All Chelsea fans know him as Super Frank. I said Nuno, didn't I? I said Nuno for Wolves. Listen,
you say Ollie as well.
Yeah, there's no media bias at all. The facts are, Frank Lampard is not getting an easy ride by the media. The facts are, Chelsea are having an unbelievable season. Frank Lampard is up there for manager of the season, what he's achieving.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah,
nobody can ring in and question that.
And you used his full name there, so they can't question that either. Keep your calls coming in on that 0808 5909 693. It seems as well, Robbie, that your crystal ball really has been letting you down. What with you predicting that Man City were going to beat Arsenal in that FA Cup semi-final and that Leeds were going to bottle it. And you got both of them wrong, didn't you? Right then, let's head over now
My mum was just texted. She just stop pressing that bell.
Val, thank you. Text him again and tell him, not again, I've got another hour to put up with him. Right, let's head over to Bruce, who's the Bournemouth fan. I imagine you're feeling a bit deflated after that today.
I know. Hi, Emma. Hi, Robbie. I hope you're both okay. Yes, I'm very feeling deflated, but the spirit they're still showing, last week when I said they put up a fight, they certainly do put up a fight. And again, when I saw that goal disallowed, when it was offside, but because my wife let out a right yell when the Bournemouth goal went in, and it scared our dog.
I mean, Bruce, I really do feel for you, sitting right down there, and one game to play. Is there a glimmer of hope for you? Are you still remaining a bit optimistic?
Well, another friend of mine, Simon, who's an Everton supporter, said he still thinks we'll be going down, but he said, I think you'll beat us. But it's just the fact that we now might have to, it looks like we'll have to see what all the other teams achieve for our goal. Do we go on goal difference now? Or,
if you beat Everton, if Aston Villa lose both their games, you beat Everton, and Watford lose both theirs, you should, with them playing Man City and Arsenal, you should, stay up, and that will prove you're better than that, Bruce.
He couldn't wait to get that in. But Bruce, hypothetically, if you do go down, do you think you'll keep hold of Eddie?
I hope so, because I think he's a really good manager, and I can't see what difference it would make if they keep changing managers. I think they should keep faith in Eddie and get us, so he can get us back up again. And I just wish him all the luck in the world.
Bruce, Emma's sitting there saying, "Oh, I feel really sorry for you." But she doesn't. Because if there's no relegation, Leeds wouldn't be coming.
Listen,
so, Emma, you don't feel sorry.
I can have empathy because I know what heartbreak feels like. We got so close. Excuse me,
Bruce.
Robbie. I'll speak for myself. We got so close last season. I know what heartbreak feels like, and I also know what the Championship feels like. So trust me, I feel for you, Bruce.
Why you saying Bournemouth are down then?
I know that if hypothetically, it's going to take a lot. Bruce will be honest with that, even the dog got scared when it looked like the ball was going in. So I think, Bruce, if we're being frank, you look at that now and you can,
Bruce, not Frank.
Oh, do you know? Oh, you're loving your anagrams and stuff today, aren't you, Robbie? He thinks he's clever, Bruce.
Stop pressing that bell, by the way.
Can we start a petition, please, Bruce, to stop Robbie Savage pressing that bell whenever I mention Leeds United? Because
You should press it on BT Sport.
I am sick and tired of it. Bruce, do you know what? Best of luck to yourselves to
Thank you very
Bournemouth
much.
on Sunday against
well done,
Everton.
Bruce.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
giving us a call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep your calls coming in on 0808 5909 693 because we'll be back with you on 606 after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clark.
Developments in North Lanarkshire after an investigation was launched into a potential coronavirus cluster. BBC understands the outbreak is linked to a test and trace site. 7 employees have tested positive for the virus there. The latest data shows there have been a further 23 COVID-19 infections across Scotland in the last 24 hours. Linda Bald is an expert in public health at Edinburgh University.
This is an incredibly sensitive time. I think we all need to realise that, and unfortunately we know that from international examples. But we need to look at the positivity rate. So that's the relationship between the number of cases and the number of people tested. And it's still less than 1%.
A mosque in Blackburn has admitted it made a mistake by allowing a funeral to take place last week with 250 mourners. The police and public health officials have launched an investigation. Current coronavirus guidance only allows for 30 people to attend funerals. China's ambassador to the UK says his country will respond resolutely if Britain imposes sanctions on Chinese officials accused of human rights abuses. Li Xiaoming has denied allegations that China's mainly Muslim Uyghur people are being mistreated. Secretary Dominic Raab says Britain can't stand by while abuses such as forced sterilisations are taking place. Avon and Somerset police say one arrest has been made and various equipment seized after an all-night illegal rave near Bath. Officers say they didn't have the resource to close it down until this afternoon. Here's Chief Superintendent Ian Wiley.
We got the call just after 11 and we were there within 10 minutes. But of course, all the stages were already set up and the music was already going, and we had many people at the site already. So it became impossible for us to do anything last night because of the safety of those partygoers, many of whom were drunk, many of whom were on drugs, and trying to muster sufficient officers to deal with what was upwards of 2,000 people last night would have been impossible.
And a 30-year-old man is being questioned by police on suspicion of attempted murder after a member of staff was stabbed inside a hospital in Brighton. The 56-year-old who works at the Royal Sussex Hospital is now said to be in a stable condition after the attack this morning.
Hear the best of 5 Live Sports on BBC Sounds with That Peter Crouch podcast.
We got a few beers and then we got escorted back to an even better place, which was like the VIP place. We're Crouches, so he's already half getting signed just from them contacts. I'll make it clear to anyone who's listening, my week list is free stuff.
And 5 Live's Football Daily.
What is the plan? Who is running the club? Who's running the transfer policy? Why has he got 1 year left? Your star man on a fortune, not trying a leg, and that's the way it looks.
Sport on Sounds. All your 5 Live favourites. Listen using the BBC Sounds app. This is the UK's biggest football debate. This is 606
with Robbie Savage and Emma Jones
on 5 Live.
Welcome back to 606. We are all set up for a London FA Cup final after Chelsea comfortably brushed away Manchester United at Wembley in a convincing 3-1 win. United fan Leo says only one man is to blame for their FA Cup exit.
If Manchester United want to go forward and win trophies and be successful, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cannot stay in charge. No, he is not a top-level manager. He's one of the most naive managers I've ever seen. He just gets the most simple things wrong. Can I tell you why we lost the game today? The players were shattered. They were dead. They had nothing left to give. That is his fault.
And this week was a huge week for Leeds United as they regained their Premier League status. You bell too late. After a 16-year hiatus. We spoke to AD earlier in the season, and tonight he called us back for a little catch-up.
Do you remember we spoke earlier in the season when Leeds had a little wobble? Oh, they're falling apart again. Oh, no, they're not going to make it. I know you were having a novel with Emma, and it's great fun, and thank you, guys. We didn't win for 5 games. Oh, my gosh. What are we going to do? Well, we're win the league with 93 points. We're going back in the Premier League.
I absolutely love that call. Still plenty of time to get your calls in on 0808 5909 693, and here is how.
This is BBC 5 Live. Call free 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Plus, see our privacy notice. bbc.co.uk/5live.
Myself and Robbie Savage are with you until 10 o'clock. And Robbie, you look like you want to have your say.
Yes, I do. I'm doing the bell for the podcast. So our fantastic producer, Mike, he can edit this into the start of the show for the podcast. How many times do I press the bell when Leeds United are mentioned? A special edition, 16 years Leeds back in the Premier League. It's a special edition podcast. How many times did I press the bell?
Well, I've been keeping a tally, and so far I've gone off an A4 sheet of paper. That's all you need to know.
Well, don't tell people. Don't give it away.
Oh, this is part of the game, is it? Oh, that's a great game, Rob. Really, really glad we're playing that one.
Oh, hang on. I've seen your Instagram. Zoom in game. That's a good game.
Right then, do you know what? Let's stick to the football. We're going to head over now to Steve, the Huddersfield fan, because well, obviously been announced today that Danny Cowley, the manager of Huddersfield, has been sacked after just 10 months in charge. Steve, seems, in my opinion, like a bit of a weird decision.
Scandalous. Absolutely scandalous. The guy has come in 4 or 5 games into the start of the season. We've only had, I think we only took 1 point from the first 9 games. We were in a mess. He's come in, I mean, we've ended up with 51 points. He's won a third of the 13 games. It's nearly a third of the games. All right, the football's not been pretty, but when you're fighting for your life, it doesn't matter how you play. It's the results that matter. And even after we lost to Luton, and all the fans were really down and complaining this and that, he said that over my dead body will Huddersfield Town get relegated. The lad's still alive, isn't he? Because he's not over his dead body, because we're still in the Championship, and it's all due to him, and he's not being given the chance to take us forward next season with his own players, spending money on players that he wants in, getting rid of the rubbish that we have down there, and seeing what he can do. At the end of the day, if he doesn't do it next season, then fine, he has to move on, but give the guy a chance.
Yeah, it does seem very, very premature, particularly as well after they beat West Brom 2-1 as well on Friday. You know, that was a big win for them and for Leeds United. But we'll save that for another day. But I mean, Steve, we've read about, you know, the directions that Danny was looking to go in being different to that of the club. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, you've got to trust your manager to take you where he thinks he can take you best. It's all in good saying that the club want to go in this direction, that direction, right? But I mean, you've got to have a manager who you let. I mean, and Dean Oyle, previous to Phil, the new chairman, Dean let his managers do what he wants and trusted him. Now, Phil Hodgkinson said he wanted Danny and his brother from Lincoln. He said he wanted them there. We paid £1 million compensation to get them there. And now he's saying, well, the style of play is no good. How can you have a style of play when you're fighting for your lives? You've got to get the points first. And to sack him 2 days after we've won the most important game of the season, because I think if we'd have lost that one, we could have certainly ended up going down. I was always confident that they were going to do it. And it proved on Wednesday night. Not Wednesday night, on Friday night, when we beat West Brom. And we deserved to beat West Brom.
And Steve, you know, you're a fan, so you'll be socialising and mixing and aware of the thoughts and feelings of other Huddersfield fans. Are they very...
2 metres apart.
Yeah, from a social distance. But I'm sure you've seen a lot online and you've read stuff. Is the feeling generally the same as how you feel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are really upset and angry. I mean, one of the worst things that could happen is that they appoint Hudson, who's one of the coaches, down there, because, sorry, but he took charge when we got rid of Seaver for 4 games, and he were out of his depth there. So, I mean, it needs to
They must have somebody who's coming in. They must have had somebody coming in. And if they're going to bring somebody in, it's got to be somebody who knows what they're doing, has got experience of the Championship. Someone like Chris Houghton.
Yeah, well, we shall...
But if they get him in, great.
Well, I'm sure all will be revealed very shortly. But thank you very much for your call, and best of luck, Steve, with what little time we have left of the season. Huddersfield fans, keep your calls coming in. 08085 909
ridiculous, isn't it, Emma? It's remarkable. You just said it. The 2-1 win against West Bromwich Albion, and then 51 points. They're going to stay up with goal difference. Just 10 months in charge. How many points did Huddersfield have when the Cowley brothers took over? Was it?
They were. Hang on. They were
20.
Yeah, they were
third.
Yeah, they were. They were right down there. And Danny Cowley, I don't think he can be criticised for what he's done at all, which is why it is so shocking. But also, obviously, the news, the confirmation that we've had from Watford about Nigel Pearson's departure. 08085 909 693.
Do you know what it makes me think, Emma? I'm doing my next coaching badge in January, and do I want to be a manager? I've always thought I want to be a manager at some point because I want to learn, I want to get experience, I want to test myself, and it makes you think, do you know what? The media is hard. You have to, both of us, we push ourselves, we get opportunities, you have to take them. But we know the media doesn't last forever, nor does a football manager. But the media lasts a far longer time if you're quite good. In this job, you'll get a bit of longevity. But you can be good as a manager and lose your job after 10 months. So I'm thinking now, do you know what? Is there any point? I may as well just keep going on this. I'd be an average pundit.
Think a lot of yourself, Rob. No, but you're absolutely right.
I'm thinking, if I do my badges, what is the point of being a manager? Even if you do well, you might get and keep a team up. When you take over, they're struggling in the Championship, and then 10 months later you lose your job when you've done your job. I can't get my head around it.
It is such a fickle industry. The highs, I'm sure, are extremely high and the lows extremely low. But I guess you can also argue that if you're going to embark on a career in that area, you know exactly what to expect. You know what you're heading into, don't you?
Which is why you expect to keep your job.
You do, but also there's other stuff that happens behind the scenes at football clubs that you and I aren't exposed to. We don't see that. We're not at Huddersfield, we don't know. I'm just hearing actually Huddersfield. They had what was that? They had one point when they took over. So the Cowley brothers have done, in my opinion, they've done a very good job there, and it will be interesting to see who is going to be, who's going to be the next manager. Keep your calls coming in on that 08085 909 693. Now, we heard from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well earlier after their defeat against Chelsea, talking about De Gea and saying that he's going to continue, he's going to stick with him, obviously, for the foreseeable. And Chris Sutton also said earlier, no, that can't happen. He needs to change his goalkeeper. We've got Sam, the Manchester United fan, on. What are your thoughts on him, Sam?
I just think he's one too many mistakes in him at the moment, and it's not a blip. It doesn't feel like a blip. There's been enough mistakes this season to certainly suggest that De Gea is certainly kind of on the down. Parts last season at Manchester City, and then obviously when Pep came in, he got rid of him, and there was a bit of a time when City was struggling to find a decent keeper. It just feels like now would be the time to cash in on De Gea, and certainly when we've got Henderson, who you're saving 50, 60 million quid on buying a replacement with having him ready to go. And I do think he is ready. I mean, if Solskjaer's talking about him as a first choice United keeper for the future, why not give him a go now? It would make sense. Cash in on De Gea and use the money somewhere else.
Do you know, I've just got the Premier League website up, and I've just typed in errors leading to goals in the Premier League. Right, and the top of that list, listen, I'm just going on what the list says. Errors leading to goal. Dubravka 5, Bednarek 3, David De Gea 3, Alex McCarthy 3, Jordan Pickford 3, Edison 3, Fabianski 2, just going through the goalkeepers, Foster 2. That's in the Premier League. So on those stats, Premier League, errors leading to goals. Yeah, David De Gea is on the same amount as Alex McCarthy, Pickford, and Ederson.
You could argue though, Robbie. I mean, if you look at tonight, and I mean, I was watching Shearer and Lineker talking on the footage, on the coverage afterwards, and they were arguing that actually De Gea's. You could argue De Gea's responsible for all three tonight. I mean, I know the own goal is unlucky, but actually, you look at his body position, you look at the way he is. I mean,
so we all goalkeepers. Are we all? Listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Are we all goalkeepers now? Talk about body position. Are we all goalkeepers now? So how do we know what his body position should be? I never played in that position. So are you a goalkeeper?
I know where you're coming from, Robbie.
Are you a goalkeeper?
I'm really not. I'm really not a goalkeeper.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? We're all goalkeepers all of a sudden. We don't know what position a goalkeeper should be. Listen, I understand it. He's got an opinion, and I get that. You're saying what they said on the TV, but I just think it's You're right. He's made errors this season. I get it, but they're unbeaten in 19 games.
But I don't think that's down to him. I honestly don't think that's down to De Gea. I think you look at Bruno, you look at the rise of Mason Greenwood, you look at the way the front three is clicking, you look at how Pogba and Bruno are coming back together and how they're doing so well together. Actually, what we're doing is I know we've had a lot of clean sheets as well, but I think it's because we are holding the ball so well at the moment. We are outplaying teams in a way that I've not seen United outplayed since certainly kind of Ferguson, and not like late Ferguson, but certainly like Ferguson around the time we were making Champions League finals every year. We are playing some of the best football we've played in a decade. I don't think it's down to De Gea that we're on the run. I think it's down to the forward play. The forward players are so good at the moment, and actually that's where my argument comes in. I think I would cash in on De Gea, and I'd go all in for someone like Koulibaly, and if the money's going to be short this year, and we're all hearing how COVID and how it's going to affect the transfer market. If we could sell De Gea for 40, 50 million quid and not have to buy a replacement because we've got Henderson, that gives you a massive advantage in the transfer market, because that's 50 million quid that could go straight back into the balance, and you could go for.
But you're saying that. When did he last sign a contract? And reports in the newspapers, £375,000 a week. So if you're to sell him, you're saying 40, 50 million quid. You know, as somebody who played in the Premier League, nowhere near that money. Let's get it right. But if you're David De Gea,
well, you weren't bad, Robbie. You weren't.
No, listen, I wasn't. I was probably 3,750. Never mind 375,000. If you're saying that though, so you're going to be a goalkeeper. I tell you what, you're going to get sold for 40, 50 million quid, and you're going to take a pay cut. What, 200,000? Alexis Sanchez now at Manchester United. You know, are they going to get rid of him? What, reportedly on 400, 500, whatever grand a week he's on? So that's the problem. But you know, so as the goalkeeper, would you leave for half your money? That's the first instance, yeah, because they've given you a lucrative contract. And look at again, clean sheets in the Premier League. He's two behind. Ederson's got 14. David De Gea's got 12. Alisson's got 30. The Premier League title-winning goalkeeper's got 13 clean sheets. David De Gea's got 12. I'm just making an argument. Yes, he's made mistakes, but I'm making an argument because I was never a goalkeeper and I don't know positional play. I don't know if it was a mistake or not. Listen, the second one is an error. Fact. The first one, let me ask you a question. If he saves the first one, so Giroud's 5-6 yards out, made the run across the near post, gets his foot to it. It's so quick. He stuck his right hand out and he's nearly saved it. If I ask you a question, I don't think it's a howler. If he'd have saved that, would we have all said, wow, how has he saved that? Reactions. Would we?
Would you have thought that was a good save, Sam?
Yeah, I probably would have, but again, I know it should have, would have, could have, but he doesn't. And it just feels like he's got a mistake in him every game.
So Sam, what would you do then? Would you put Henderson in goal?
Yeah, I would. I'd give him a go. From what I've seen, I think he's played well enough in front of, and this is no disrespect to Sheffield United, but what is essentially still the core of the team that came up from the Championship. I think if you put a really, really solid top quality defence in front of Henderson, you've got a really, really high quality keeper. He's probably having to make more saves per game at Sheffield United than De Gea is at Man United. And I think if you also look at the points, we're on for possibly. I mean, we're on for the lowest points I think in the Premier League in a while. I mean, I think even if we win all our games, we'll still only be on about 58, 60. I mean, the beginning of the season wasn't great, and actually, maybe it's time to just freshen it up.
Oh, Sam, the Manchester United fan, is it time to freshen it up? 08085 693. How's that cuppa for you, Robbie? You enjoying that? Yeah, having a good glug there. Yeah. Right then, of course we've got confirmation that Nigel Pearson has parted ways with Watford this evening. So Paul, the Watford fan, 2 games to go, 2 very big games, Manchester City and Arsenal, sitting just above the relegation zone. What are your thoughts on this decision?
Well, Emma, I think it's an absolutely ridiculous decision. I mean, Nigel Pearson has been absolutely fantastic for us. I know we haven't been great since lockdown, but, you know, we got 7 points, not bad. And he knows how to get teams out of it. What are we doing sacking the manager with 2 games to go? What's the new manager going to do before Man City on Tuesday? I mean, probably going to lose whoever the manager is. What difference can he make, you know?
It's Hayden Mullins, it says, Emma, doesn't it? And he's had 2 games before, 1 point from those 2 games. A point will be enough. If a point, might be enough if Villa don't take maximum points on their remaining 2 games. It's just.
I think he's only favourite because it happens to coincide with, they've both been sacked at the same time. So people have put 2 and 2 together. I can't see them bringing him in, to be honest. But I don't know who they would bring in.
Well, who would you like them to bring in?
Well, this is the thing.
Jurgen Klopp with 2 games to go.
Yeah,
definitely. Or Guardiola. Get him in. Yeah, fucking bring Alex Ferguson back.
Apologise, Paul. Just a moment. We need to apologise for that language there, Paul. Let's continue.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Big Sam's not doing much, is he? I can't see Harry Redknapp coming out of retirement, but maybe who's going to, whoever it is, it's a poison challenge in a way. But if they go too far, that's been too negative, because I think we'll stay up. But I don't know who could come in and just do a job in 2 games.
Did you say you do think you'll stay up?
I think after today's result with Bournemouth, I think we have a much better chance. But I must say, during last week, I was not sure. Well, I'm still not sure, but yeah. What do you think, Emma?
I'm with you. I'm not sure either. I think, particularly with a knee-jerk reaction like this, I can't see that that's going to get you a result against Arsenal and Man City that's going to keep you up. Yeah. I mean, you've played, you've had shock wins during the season, but with the greatest of respect, the overwhelming majority of the time that hasn't happened. So,
We're not going to beat City. I mean, we lost them 6-0 in the cup final and then 8-0 this season. That's not going to happen. As long as we can keep it below 4. If we can keep it to 2, that'd be amazing.
Well, Paul.
And then,
Paul, the Watford fan, thank you very much for your call. Let's head over to a Manchester City fan now then and ask him. John, are you going to beat Watford? Hello, John. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we normally do.
Yeah.
What's it? Before I get to my main point, David, I'll tell you what David De Gea's problem is. He doesn't dominate his box, and he tries to save a lot with his feet. Now, I played semi-pro goalkeeper, and David De Gea was too far over to his left. He should have been covered in the near post, and that's where the ball went in. If he'd have been covered in the near post, he would have hit it. And
do you think you should be hit on your near post, Robbie. Yeah, John, do you think you'd have saved that?
Yes, because I would have been in a better position.
So hang on. So you played semi-pro football, but you think you would have saved that ahead of a Spanish international?
I would have been on my near post and it hit me.
So you'd have saved it?
I I would hope perhaps if I hadn't, I think it was my fault.
So if you'd have been in goal for Manchester United today, listen, you might have saved the second one. But I think I probably would have saved the second one. But the third one, you're saying, you would have saved the third one.
Yeah, got me goalkeeping's about.
So if you'd have been in goal for Manchester United today, you would have drawn 1-1 and would have had extra time.
I'm not being funny. If you look at De Gea's position, and it's shocking. He's in no man's land. If he's on his near post, if he's on his near post, like the save by Edison last night, he was on his near post and turned it round the post. You ask any professional goalkeeper.
So John. So today, if you'd have been in goal for Manchester United, you would have drew 1-1. You'd have drew 1-1.
If I'd have let it in, I'd have been disappointed and told my teammates. David De Gea is not a good goalkeeper. He tries to save most with his feet.
He's not a good goalkeeper.
Goals that he concedes.
He's not a good goalkeeper.
I don't think he is. No.
So he's not a good. David De Gea is not a good goalkeeper.
He's not like the Schmeichels you've had and Van der Sars. He's not in that league.
Well, John, you're a Man City fan. I mean, let us know if Ollie gets in touch for you to go in goal. But you are a Man City fan, and that.
I'm a bit old now. Anyway, my point is not sour grapes. You know, if you don't put a ball in the net, you don't win. But my point is that it's not yesterday. It's been since lockdown. People have been complaining. Manchester City can play 9 subs. But 7 of them are always defenders. And Leicester Day, Carson, Cacello, Zinchenko, Rodri, Fernandinho, Stones and Otamendi. The only 2 creative players we had was Bernardo and Phil Foden. Now, why do we need 2 central defenders on the subs bench when you don't even need any of them because they're not good enough anyway? They're leaving. Why aren't we looking to see what kids we can bring through? We've had one lad on the bench 6 times, Cole Palmer. We were 5-0 up against Brighton, and you bring him on. Now, you must know about it. How did you feel when you made your debut for United?
I didn't.
Would have been great, that, wouldn't it?
Well, I didn't. I felt
bad. Who was it? Crew?
Crew.
Yeah. How did you feel when you come on? I bet you were 10 foot high, weren't you?
Yeah, it was nervous.
I don't understand why he's not bringing the kids through. We don't need Stones and Otamendi on the bench. They're both leaving. Let's see what we've got. We've got some great young talent. Like we've signed 14, 15 academy players during lockdown.
So John, you're a better goalkeeper than David De Gea, technically better than Pep.
I'm not saying that. All right. No, I'm saying, mate, it's the bench that's baffling me. Why aren't we giving some of these kids a go? We're going to lose one of the best young talents in Europe soon because he's disillusioned with the club. And that is Jayden Braff. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, very, very, very top player.
Top player. Yeah. Why aren't we?
Oh, hi Nebula. Thank you very much. I'm very glad that you decided to stop by my channel.
So your thoughts on that as well? 08085 909 693.
Well, you've got to say, if it had been a goal for Man United, Emma, today, it'd have been 1 or extra time. We'd probably just got there.
This is true. Right then, let's head over to Steve, the Watford fan, because we've heard from a few Watford fans tonight, Steve, and they aren't happy with the decision to sack Nigel Pearson.
Yes, before I start, I just want to say I really wish I was in the Man City fans case at the moment, because what we're going through is an absolute joke. In the words of Graham Taylor, do I not like that? If he was alive today, he'd be absolutely fuming. The way that the Pozo family and Scott question to answer, because we're still going round and round in circles. We thought Nigel Pearson, he's doing the job. I know we've not been that great as late,
что ж,
but we are looking like we might
все это время я тихо медитировал. Но раз такое дело... Кстати, в YouTube очень странная политика. Когда я начал стримить Евро, я зафигачил эти видео на YouTube. И что ты думаешь? Половина из них была с ограниченным доступом, типа монетизировать нельзя. Но это все понятно. Из-за того, что я слушал радио... Понятное дело, раз я ушел, сейчас я слушаю болтовню, ее, наверное, не будут банить. Но те, я не понимаю, по какому принципу они это делают. Зависит от исполнителей, что ли. Потому что половина у меня была с ограниченным доступом, которых нельзя монетизировать. Половина вообще в некоторых странах запрещено, а некоторые вообще во всем мире. По какому принципу они это делают, непонятно. Я бы понял, если бы их запретили во всем мире вообще. Ну, это дело такое. Видимо, если играет какая-нибудь Металлика, то запрещает во всем мире. Если играет что-то типа поскромнее, типа Сепультуры, тогда запрещает только в некоторых странах.
Let's get all the sport tonight. Here's Don Busby. Thank you. The FA Cup final will be an all-London affair after Chelsea proved too strong for Manchester United at Wembley today. United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has defended David De Gea, calling him mentally very strong, despite the keeper being at fault for Chelsea's first two goals, with Giroud and Mount scoring them. The third was a Harry Maguire own goal before United got one back from the spot via Fernandes. Well, a happy Chelsea boss Frank Lampard says his team never stopped working.
I can't ask for any more than that. Maybe a couple more goals, and that's surprising when you play against a team with their quality, but more than that was the work ethic of the performance. When you see the team come out and run, wing-backs jump up to get close to people, midfield players, Jorginho, Kovacic, Giroud, Mount, I could go through the whole team. Very proud of the performance.
Watford have confirmed the departure of manager Nigel Pearson with 2 games of the season remaining. The move follows Friday's 3-1 defeat at West Ham, which left them hanging on to their Premier League status by a thread. Under-23 coach Hayden Mullins will take charge for Manchester City at home and then Arsenal away. Here's our reporter Simon Stone.
It's exactly what he did after the second of 3 sackings now for Watford earlier this season. Basically, the Pozzo family believe Hayden Mullins is able to get a draw from his 2 games that'll keep Watford up.
There was heartbreak for Bournemouth today, who thought they'd snatched a point at Southampton, only for VAR to rule out their equaliser for offside. Saints went on to win 2-0. Bournemouth will now be relegated on Tuesday if Watford get a point against Manchester City. And in today's other game, Harry Kane got 2 goals as Tottenham thumped Leicester 3-0 to move up to 6th into a Europa League spot. Barnsley lived to fight another day in the Championship. Patrick Schmidt got a 93rd minute winner against Nottingham Forest to move off the bottom. Barnsley must now win at Brentford to have a chance of staying up. And the Champions League Leeds were 3-1 winners at Derby. Meanwhile, Huddersfield have sacked manager Danny Cowley after 10 months in charge. To the cricket, where England still have a chance of claiming a win in the second test when it concludes at Old Trafford tomorrow. Joe Root's men begin on 37 for 2. They lead the West Indies by 219 runs. Well, Stuart Broad took 3 wickets in.
Как любопытно. Окей, продолжаем.
Team just continues to amaze me. I love working with them, and I'm grateful that I can perform them on days, on weekends like this, because it's a great feeling.
Finally, for now, world champion Marc Marquez suffered a broken arm in the season-opening Spanish MotoGP as Frenchman Fabio Quartararo won in his maiden race. Marquez will have surgery in Barcelona on Tuesday. And that's the latest from BBC Sport.
BBC 5 Live.
Laura Whitmore.
Hey, I'm Laura Whitmore, back on BBC Radio 5 Live every Sunday. Join me and my guests as we kick back and chew over everything that's grabbed our attention this week. On this series, I'll be chatting to some big names from the world of music, movies, politics and activism, including the likes of Rufus Wainwright, Lily Cole, Catherine Jenkins and Monroe Bergdorf.
Laura Whitmore, back Sunday morning from 10.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is the UK's biggest football debate. This is 606.
With Robbie Savage and Emma Jones.
On 5 Live.
Welcome back to 606. Myself and Robbie Savage are with you until 10 o'clock tonight, so there's still plenty of time to get your calls in on 08085 909 693. We've had a few unhappy Watford fans on, upset with the second of Nigel Pearson. Same with the Huddersfield fans as well. Again, the second of Danny Cowley after just 10 months in charge. And we've even heard from Man United's next goalkeeper, John, haven't we, Robbie? Eh? We get it all on this show. Right, then we're going to head over to Ozzy, the Arsenal fan. Now, Ozzy, first of all, Robbie owes you an apology because he definitely didn't think you were going to win that game, did you, Rob?
Who?
You said.
Oh, you weren't listening.
Need Robbie's apology, that's fine.
I like it. Go on.
Emma, I want to just make 3 points, yeah, if I can. First point is, the producer asked me when I was waiting, who do I think is going to have a more successful career? Klopp, Guardiola, Lampard, Arteta, as a manager, right? Impossible question to quantify because really it depends on the chairman backing and the club that you're at, yeah? But what I do want to say is that you did mention earlier about the managers that should get special mention for doing fantastic things, yeah? I think Arteta needs to be in there because the mess the club Arsenal is really in the background. I mean, yes, we're winning games and he's got the team playing again, but it's the same people at the club really that were there when Wenger was there and people were getting on his back. And with the Spanish guy Emery, and now we've got Arteta, luckily, we've got him and he's done the business. And I don't blame players like Ozil, basically, and same as Sanchez signing these contracts because they're on, the clubs don't want to let them walk away for free, so they've got every right to sign the contract. Same as De Gea. De Gea's not a bad goalkeeper. He can have a bad game. I agree with Robbie 100%. I think when you look at what he's won in the game and the fact that he stayed at United and kept very good goalkeepers from getting the top spot for season after season, it shows his pedigree. 1 or 2 bad games don't make a bad goalkeeper. I did want to touch on the Chelsea-Arsenal Cup final. I think Arsenal will win that game. I'll stick my neck out now. I think Chelsea have got a better squad. I think if our key players ain't injured, the way we're playing at the moment, I don't think anyone can beat us, especially like the attack. I think again with Arteta, the way he's brought the youngsters through and integrated them, everybody wants to play, everybody wants their part. Luiz has got a point to prove with Lampard as well. I think the tactics have to be a high press, but I think with the goalkeeper Martinez adding confidence to the back line, Mustafi's found his feet, Xhaka's found his feet, and you've only got to look at the finishes of Aubameyang yesterday. I just don't think, I'm very confident. I'm very confident, yeah.
Robbie,
and that's it, really.
Robbie, would you put Mikel Arteta up there for Manager of the Year?
Not Manager of the Year, no. I think if he wins a trophy, nobody would have seen that, because I thought Man City would beat them if they can win the FA Cup. Wow, he captained them to an FA Cup triumph, didn't he, as well? So, is it an opportunity in this final that two captains of the clubs could lift the trophy as manager, which would be quite unbelievable, really. So I don't think he's up there managing the season. It's not so long ago.
He's definitely done a great job, though.
Yeah, he's done well. Yeah,
what can he do from here, Ozzy? Where can he go? Where can Mikel Arteta take Arsenal?
I think it depends on Stan Kroenke. I mean, Stan Kroenke's wife's family own Walmart, and if people don't know that, that's the supermarket chain. Stan Kroenke, in his own right, is a very wealthy man. They own the biggest ranch in Texas, which happens to be the biggest ranch in the world. It spans across 4 states, I believe. It's up to them. These people, really, the players and the chairman are the ones that pull the strings at football clubs. The managers are kind of like diplomats and go-betweens and mediators. So I think...
No, go on.
Yeah.
No.
I think any manager, listen, just want to say one thing. Arteta will, once you lose the dressing room, it don't matter who you are, whether you're Klopp, Arteta or Cowley or Nigel Pearson, you're out the door. Yeah. But I think football is a harsh game, but I think the harshness is the beauty of it. And I think that I really appreciate... I admire Robbie for sticking up for De Gea today, because I think being a goalkeeper is a very, very tricky position. Same as being a striker, because there's nowhere to hide. You've got to produce at that moment. And whatever anyone says, I'm not a Man United fan, by the way, but I think you've only got to look at what De Gea's done in the game and won. I just don't think you're going to see the likes of that, in the future. And also, you've got to look at the centre-halves that Man United have gone through that he's had to play behind. You know what I mean? If you look at when Schmeichel played, somebody pointed out earlier what a great keeper Schmeichel was and Van der Sar. I don't think they had that many centre-halves that Man United have gone through. And to be honest with you, I don't want to be disrespectful, but probably the 80 million price tag on Harry Maguire's head is probably weighing on him as well,
Well, Ozzy...
Like I said, I don't care about Man United anyway. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I care about my team.
I respected your opinion of Mikel Arteta until you said you admired Robbie Savage, and then you lost me there. I'm sorry, Ozzy. Thank you very much, Ozzy, the Arsenal fan, for your call. Now, we've spoken about Premier League clubs, we've spoken about the Championship, but obviously very close to your heart are grassroots clubs, Robbie.
Yeah, listen, Emma, it's back. I've got to thank Damien Collins, Nigel Huddleston, the FA. I was in communication with Greg Clark, the chairman, a guy called James at the FA. I don't know his second name, but communicate with them. And it's been back. It's great competitive training, competitive games. We actually played a game this morning, and do you know what? To see the youngsters' faces, how happy they were, the enjoyment they had. Listen, it's the new normal. We followed all the guidelines given by the FA and the DCMS. I was out there sanitising the goals, the balls, taking temperatures as everybody come in, the track and trace. And people who my assistant manager and all the parents helped in that. So it was fantastic. First and foremost, listen, I had lots of people thanking me yesterday. I didn't do anything. It would have probably followed its natural course and come back. I just, in my position, I've been an ex-Premier League footballer, I had a voice. I thought that voice could help. So nobody has to thank me. That is it 16 or 17 weeks where there was no grassroots football. Now it can come back, do it safely, do it right, follow the guidelines, but everybody, please embrace it, enjoy yourself, and watch your children, even in the grassroots adults, just watch them have fun and enjoy themselves. And it's brilliant. I was up at 6:30 this morning. So was my son. So excited. He had his boots by the door, he had his kit on the floor, and it was just heartwarming to see, and I hope that's replicated up and down the country with everybody following the new guidelines. So thank you to the government, thank you to the FA, and let's do Doc Savage.
Doc Savage. Doc Savage. This is Doc Savage. The man of bronze.
Colour 1, name, team, point, go.
My name's Lorraine. I'm an Arsenal fan, and bring on Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and that's the best.
Colour 2, name, team, point, go. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello. I'd like to talk about the spitting on the...
Colour 3, name, team, point, go.
Eamon, Leeds United. Wales is a saint, but give credit to what Kevin Blackwell did 15 years ago.
Colour 4, name, team, point, go.
Gareth Derby. If David De Gea is not welcome at Man United, he can come to Pride Park and play with Wayne Rooney next season.
Colour 5, name, team, point, go.
Bernard Newcastle fan, Bournemouth offside, I can fix it.
Colour 6, name, team, point, go.
Stephen, Leeds fan, I want to say thank you for a bit of grassroots football. Stop Leeds.
I think the Newcastle fan fixing VAR, I like the sound of that, and then the Leeds fans at the end, yeah?
Yes.
Bernard, how are you, Bernard?
I'm not doing so bad.
Good, Bernard, come on in, Bernard. How are you going to fix VAR, Bernard? How are you going to fix VAR?
Right. Use goal line technology as the way to do it. Think of the forward as the ball and the defender the goal line. The ball has to clear the line to be a goal. So the forward should be actually ahead of the defender, like in a horse race or dog race, one length ahead. You get rid of this ridiculous offside by 3 millimetres when they're actually level.
Robbie's scratching his head.
So say that again.
Right. Think of the defender as the goal line and the attacker as the ball. The ball has to be clearly over all of the goal line to be a goal. So in offside, the forward has to be clear of the defender. If there's any overlap, he's onside. To use horse racing or dog racing parlance, a length ahead.
The daylight.
Well, I've lost count of the number of goals now are being disallowed for 3 or 4 millimetres offside, like the armpit one or goodness knows what else, when the players are clearly level and the goal should stand.
Okay, Bernard.
I mean, and do you know what, Bernard? In fairness, that's something that's caused a huge amount of sort of speculation throughout the season since we've seen the introduction of VAR. So that is a fair point, isn't it?
Didn't they use daylight before? I can't remember.
I've tried to speak about VAR here before, but I wasn't successful. The thing is, they do exactly the same in Spain as they do in England. It's unbelievable that the idiots that created VAR are now the idiots in charge of the VAR decisions.
Well, Bernard, fair enough. Maybe not call them idiots, but I mean, fair enough. Fair point in the sense of the whole millimetre thing. Thank you very much.
Let's go to a plan.
Yes, Stephen.
Please, come on, Stephen.
Please. Stephen, talk to us.
Look at you two marching on together.
I'll tell you what. Go on.
Sorry, Emma. No, go on, Emma. Sorry.
No, I was going to say let's start with grassroots, but I'm really excited that you want to talk about Leeds, so go ahead.
Yeah, so down to him, but we needed a voice, and he's been a fantastic voice for everyone involved with grassroots, so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that, Steve, but I don't need the thanks. Listen, I wasn't, I'm sure there'll be hundreds of thousands of grassroots volunteers up and down the country who would love to have said what I said, but luckily for me and my platform, I was quite disappointed, I'll be honest with you, that there was no other ex-Premier League players or footballers who really joined it. That disappoints me a little bit because we all come through grassroots. That's their prerogative, that's up to them. But I just felt that my son plays in my team and I'm a volunteer. I wanted to, help everybody. So thank you for that, Steve. I don't need thank you because it wasn't down to me.
We did need a voice, which is important. It was my daughter's first season last season, so for her just to get back in.
Oh, fantastic.
Training.
Stephen, how was she?
How old is she?
She's 10.
So
What's the team called?
Rothwell Town in Leeds.
Brilliant.
Shout out to Rothwell Town.
Fantastic.
Stephen, can I just ask your daughter, with the first day back at training, how was she mentally after that? What kind of lift did that give her?
Oh, massively. Just to be back around the teammates, to see her doing what she enjoys, really. Instead of being stuck in the house. So just to be around the mates, playing football, doing something she enjoys. Just to give them all a massive lift.
That is genuinely lovely to hear. So a great weekend all round in your household, Stephen. What with Leeds?
Oh, definitely.
Leeds going up as champions and your daughter getting back to training.
Yeah, I don't think I've slept for 3 days.
Me and you both, Stephen. You and me both.
Trying to say thanks to you as well, and for all great coverage on IUTV, to all the staff at Leeds, all the players. We all deserve to get to where we are now.
Great coverage.
Do you know what, Stephen? It's just you and me right now. We'll pretend that Robbie isn't here. He's not rung the bell, so that's a success. I tell you what, we were chatting today, and actually, do you know what? A lot of this is what the fans deserve, because to have spent that money and to have seen, relegation and to have got so close and, over the past sort of 16 years, it's exactly what the fans deserve, and I think we owe so much. The owner has done an incredible thing, but Marcelo Bielsa, what he has done, I mean, there really aren't the words, are there, Stephen?
No, if you look what he's done, he's brought the whole city together. I mean, you just see videos of him, even today when leaving Pride Park, going up to a disabled fan, getting out of his car and going up to her and giving her a cuddle. So just stuff like that just unites everyone together.
He really does.
Stephen, Emma was hammering them at Christmas. They were going to bottle it again.
Do you believe that, Stephen, or do you think that it was Robbie saying Leeds are going to bottle it?
You were hammering them.
I was not. I knew it. Listen, I watched them play and I knew it. Stephen, thank you so much, and send our love to your daughter and all of them at Rothwell.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stephen. Take care.
Bielsa out, you
right then. As if I would ever say Bielsa out. I can't wait to see that man in the Premier League. Let's head over now to Russell, a Manchester United fan. Now, Russell, you want to talk about Leo, who called earlier to say basically Ollie out. Actually, you're quite the opposite, aren't you? You want to compare him to who?
I know this is going to sound bizarre, but hello, Emma, and hello, Robbie, by the way.
Hello.
Of a rocky start. I was very sceptical last season, coming into this season, about whether we should keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on. But what he's done and what he's bringing in is he's bringing the youth back through, and he's doing a pretty solid job, and I don't think there's any reason to from. We need some stability. We've had all these silly years after Sir Alex where we've made wrong appointment after wrong appointment. And Ollie, last year I'm thinking, not sure. But now I just think, and certainly since lockdown, yes, he's had a bit of good fortune, I think, with Bruno, because I don't think any one of us knew how good he was. But he's galvanised that squad, Bruno. And Ollie's, we've got Wan-Bissaka, he's got Brandon Williams going through, he's got Luke Shaw playing well. Pogba is revitalised, probably because of Bruno Fernandes, and also that it's taken pressure off Pogba to be the star performer. I can't see anything but good in what he's doing. Today was disappointing, of course it was, but it's just a little hiccup. It's not a disaster. If you look back to January where we were, when we're getting beat at home off Burnley and Palace, and now I think the future's good. I think it's bright under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And God bless him. Greenwood, fair play, man.
Do you really think, Russell, that he is almost Ferguson-esque, though? Do you truly believe that?
I think that he has learned a lot from Alex Ferguson. He's not, obviously, he hasn't got the same granite. He's not going to do the hairdryer, I don't know, because he's always sweet-faced and he's a beautiful man. But, I think he's learned so much from Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think he knows how to manage people and put his arm around people and show individual management towards different players. Generally,
Russell, thank you very much. Russell, the Manchester United fan there, comparing Ollie to Ferguson. Let's head over now to Ian, the Chelsea fan. Congratulations, Ian.
Hi. How
are you guys?
We're good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well. I just wanted to say, first of all, even as a Chelsea fan, I agree with Robbie last week about United signing 3 players and they will be a force next year. I do. But I think Chelsea today, for the first
Ian, sorry, can you just turn your radio off just because we're getting the echo in the background? We want to make sure we can hear it.
Yeah, I'll do it now. Hang on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
That's okay. Yeah, perfect. Go for it, Ian.
Yeah, I just think Robbie's right. I think if United sign 3 players, I'm not patronising United, but I think if they sign 3 players next year, they will be a force. I think Chelsea today made a step forward under Frank Lampard. They pressed very high, and they made United look at times inept. I know there were mistakes by United, but I think Chelsea have taken a step forward, and I think, you know, they're a good side under Frank Lampard. You know, we've got a good owner, and we'll get money to buy players, and I think, you know, we're a decent side. We'll be up there next season, and I think we thoroughly deserve to win today. But I do think United will be a better side next year.
Yeah, I think the top 4 next season will be, the 4 teams in it will be Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and who's the one? Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea. That'll be the top 4. Not in that order. That'll be the top 4.
Do you think Chelsea could? Do you think?
Yeah,
Chelsea
I think the signings they made already, Ziyech and Timo Werner, fantastic. You know, there's rumours Kai Havertz might be going somewhere. If Chelsea got him as well, wow, I just think possibly centre half as well. But Frank Lampard, I'm with you, done a fantastic job at his first season at Chelsea.
I mean, the thing is, if we win the FA Cup, and I'm not taking it for granted, because Arsenal, you know.
На данный момент, пожалуй, все. Ой, пойду готовить блинчики. Спасибо всем, кто смотрел и кто не смотрел. Тоже.